Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from chaos. New York's Union Square Farmers Market swarmed with too many voices, too many colors. 55, she'd expected assimilation to feel like slipping into a favorite sweater. Instead, it itched like cheap wool. Then she spotted it, a rogue skein of merino, sunset orange, abandoned on a bench. Lit. She pocketed it, an act of salvage that sparked an idea. That night, armed with needles and stubborn hope, she posted flyers for a knitting circle. New thread. Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from that old ghost of doubt humming like a subway beneath her ribs. 55 years of life, yet here she stood in Brooklyn clutching a wool skein, same deep green as her mother's kitchen back in Minsk, wondering if hands that once kneaded dough could ever stitch belonging into this dizzying new world. Farmers' market smelled like possibility, but her tongue still tripped over organic turmeric like a tourist on cobblestones. Then she spotted it, a flyer for Knit One, Help One, a circle where newcomers turned yarn into warmth. That first meeting, her needles clacked clumsily but laughter spilled loose as dropped stitches, Syrian grandmothers purling Arabic lullabies, Mexican teens swapping slang over neon scarves. Skeins became lifelines, each loop a silent "you're not alone." By winter, Anna's mittens warmed hands' shelter, her once shaky voice now teasing Ecuadorian widows about their tension being too lit. That green wool? It became a hat for a homesick girl from Kiev, its ridges whispering what Anna finally knew: unraveled threads could still weave something whole. Subway's rumble? Just city keeping time with her heartbeat. Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from exhaustion, her third failed job interview that week gnawing confidence. Brooklyn's autumn wind whipped stray gray curls into her eyes as she trudged past a farmer's market where pumpkins gleamed like misplaced suns. A skein of merino wool tumbled from a vendor's table, unfurling down sidewalk cracks like a misplaced lifeline. She grabbed it, but instead of handing it back, found herself clutching wool as if it could steady her. Vendor didn't scold. Just nodded toward a storefront where neon yarn balls glowed in window. "Stitch and Sip," sign read. Inside, laughter tangled with clinking needles. Anna hesitated. 55 years old, her last knitting project a lopsided scarf for granddaughter back in Minsk, but hunger for connection shoved her through door. Women of every shade and accent perched on mismatched couches, their hands dancing over projects. One, a Ghanaian grandmother with biceps that could wrestle bears, waved her over. "Newbie, sit by me," she declared, patting cushion. "The stakes here get turned into art." Anna's first row twisted like subway tracks after whiskey, but no one winced. Instead, they passed her cocoa spiked with cinnamon, called her honey like they'd known her decades. Week after week, wool became her compass. She learned to purl while a Guatemalan baker vented about sourdough fails, seamed mittens as a Syrian nurse joked about Brooklyn winters being wimpier than Damascus. Skeins piled up, not just yarn, but stories, recipes, shortcuts to free ESL classes. That first scarf? Turned out lumpy as dumpling dough, but Ghanaian queen insisted it was abstract chic and wore it to next meeting. By spring, Anna's hands no longer shook. She sold knitted hats that same farmer's market, her table wedged between pickles and pottery. When wide-eyed newcomers paused, she'd press a spare needle into their palm. "Make messes with us," she'd say, grinning. Wool had been her anchor, now it became a bridge. And if her latest sweater had sleeves slightly uneven? Well, Brooklyn loved a rebel. Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from frustration, wool skeins slipping like time through her hands. 55 years of muscle memory meant nothing here. New York's farmers' markets buzzed too fast, her accent thickened under stress, and every dropped stitch felt like another failure to assimilate. A creator had survived harder things than tangled yarn. She'd outlasted Soviet breadlines, she could damn well conquer Brooklyn. Her salvation came in stubborn loops. Nights spent knitting by dim lamplight became a silent rebellion against invisibility. Each purl was a tiny victory, each row proof she hadn't lost her edge. When loneliness gnawed, she dragged her basket to a park bench and let curious glances turn into conversations. "You make?" a woman asked, pointing her half-finished scarf. She shrugged, thrust needles forward like an offering. No words needed. Soon, her bench gatherings grew into something lit, a ragtag circle of newcomers clutching mismatched yarn, their laughter fraying language barriers. A Syrian doctor fumbled with cast-ons, a Guatemalan baker mastered ribbing like it was dough. Anna's hands steadied theirs, teaching what no citizenship test could: how to rebuild rhythm when life unraveled. One rainy Thursday, she spotted a Lithuanian widow staring a tangled skein like it held all her regrets. Anna plopped down beside her, unraveled mess with a dry chuckle. "Like my first English lesson," she muttered. Woman's smile cracked open like a seed. By spring, their circle had a name, Pearl and Push, and Anna's scarves sold that damn market where she'd once flinched prices. Every sale was a middle finger to doubt, every dropped stitch now a joke instead of a crisis. Wool had become her weapon, its fibers woven tight as her resolve. America hadn't softened her, it just gave her new patterns to master. Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from nerves as she unfurled her first skein of wool in front of 20 skeptical faces. Brooklyn's winter farmers market buzzed around them, all artisanal cheese and overpriced kale, but her makeshift knitting circle under a pop-up tent felt like another planet. She'd advertised it as Stitch and Belong, a cheeky nod to her own 2-year battle with English idioms and subway maps. Most attendees were newcomers like her, women clutching frayed dictionaries, their eyes darting between Anna's chunky scarf project and judgmental hipster sipping matcha nearby. One woman, Larissa from Minsk, folded her arms. "This soft green card? Yo? Then waste time." Her scoff hung in air like a challenge. Anna's pulse spiked, but she grinned, holding up her half-finished scarf, a riot of colors mismatched from her first disastrous dye attempt. "Neither does complaining, duh. But this." She wiggled her needles. "Makes blizzards warmer and bureaucrats bearable." A snort came from back. "Progress." By third week, magic happened. Larissa returned grudgingly, then gasped when Anna taught her to cable knit without dropping stitches. A local reporter snapping photos of heirloom tomatoes pivoted, captivated by their laughter as yarn tangled around someone's coffee cup. Anna's hands flew, demonstrating a slip-stitch hack she'd learned from a Peruvian abuela in Line DMV. Camera flashed. Next morning, her wool-dyed fingers scrolled past a viral shot. "Immigrant grandmas outknit Brooklyn." Comments exploded. "Where's my cozy revolution?" "Lit." Even matcha hipsters slid into their circle, sheepishly holding a lumpy attempt to hat. Anna's chest tightened. That skein, once just a lifeline against loneliness, now bound them all. As snow melted into cherry blossoms, city officials begged her to lead workshops. "No," she said, "but find us a bigger tent." Underneath, her heart whispered, "I finally belong here." And when Larissa gifted her a flawless shawl, for teach me stubborn joy, Anna knew stitches could build bridges faster than paperwork ever would. Anna's fingers trembled not from cold but from sheer overwhelm, new city, new language, new loneliness. Yet in her hands, wool skeins became lifelines. Each stitch smoothed frayed edges of her courage. First, knitting was escape. Then, on a whim, she unfurled a sign of Brooklyn farmers market, newcomers knit together. Skeptical faces turned curious, then lit up. A Syrian grandmother clutched chai in one hand, yarn in other. A Venezuelan teen traded slang for pearl techniques. Anna's odd habit, humming ABBA while counting rows, became their inside joke. Months later, her wool symbol had grown, no longer just skeins but a tapestry of voices. She guided trembling fingers, not just through stitches but through subway maps, job forms, heartache. Their circle rippled outward, craft fairs, ESL classes, even a viral TikTok of their scarf of many accents. By 56, Anna didn't just knit sweaters. She wove belonging. Grab your needles, mend world, one stitch at a time.